I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The chief of detectives seems the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right, we can come back here later. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera, sera. Never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntarily appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? Words, get it out. If there ever was a case I needed to know the truth about, that was the one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Something was fishy about the trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean the switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's alright, but in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. What question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match for the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, the possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. Scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean King of the Prosecutors? I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? It's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day SL9 took place, it wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there were thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There is something going on behind the scenes in the case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired and I was demoted and boxed away in that tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? What are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant at Light of Sky. The investigation lead Damon Gant and his second-in-command, Light of Sky. There weren't a person on the force who hadn't heard of the duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lano transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah. Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Not a secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth ain't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict, but someone else was the one who gave him the evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Okay, how about now? This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, we're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did in the decision... Words. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did in the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media in tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir? We'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Emma, shut up. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. That explains his organ music. Whoa. Where am I? In the chief's office, silly. He's that's what he said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Yeah, he used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Buck. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me that. I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two! Chief Gant. He put the paper he was reading on his desk. So, Righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've got my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? You mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies! See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Look at the award. And the vase is there too. Interesting. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Many things aren't right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it though. Good thing I can, isn't it? Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has been long since over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's got to be a way inside the Chief's office. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into exactly what went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in the case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Oh, fucking hell. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Attorneys and prosecutors have no business showing evidence outside court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved. She really means it. Lana. response from any of these. What to do? Ah. Gumshoe! Hiya, pal. Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Oh, God. Gumshoe. So, like Detective Gumshoe is still out of the loop. So, who you see Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No, why'd you ask? He's under fire from the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battle between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Sky's the guilty party here, isn't she? Sorry, Emma. Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumours going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this... Are there really so many people that hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go to lunch again sometime, my treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. Seems like you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth might just crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find anything? The only evidence Dart left behind was during his final attack. His final attack, you mean? When he killed Prosecutor Marshall, was trying to protect some girl. Me. Detective Gumshoe never realised Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with a murder weapon. I forgot. It's all written in here somewhere, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Joe Dart was 42 at the time of the crime. He's just a round-the-mill businessman. Businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident, and he killed the lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed him too, and when he... Fucking hell, let me read it, Gumshoe. A dog came up on the scene and he was killed as well. Finally turned himself in. Seems like he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There weren't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim, Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. Good thing the last witness wasn't killed. That last witness, Emma. Hey, is that? It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly appeared from the locker and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car and muffler. That's it. Now I remember what the incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. What was it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. This knife was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, plus had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you see it's broken. You have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway, take a guess where the broken tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. That's Australian. Get back to London, Wolfie. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fibre. That's pretty conclusive. Neil's autopsy. Stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung, and knife tip was in the wound. Switchblade's been updated. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gann. It's not money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now and his office is locked. We'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Or any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What, really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'll be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'll be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The date it was deleted, the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe's our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's someone we could show him that would make him change his mind. Interesting. Well, this obviously isn't it. Let me share a little device with you as a detective. If you don't have a clue, keep your trap shut. I'll, keep that in mind. Sheesh. I I've been setting up on them files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. I think people are accusing him of injustice. I for one ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case of Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, they were a pretty big deal back when it was going on, you know. After all, serial killers on the loose. But Lana's pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. About that jar, I think I've seen it before somewhere. Somewhere? Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. Like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Ah! Where could I have seen that before? Oh, come on! That's the ID card recorder, isn't it? Yeah, there's only one number left to investigate at 4:20 PM. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. 777777. That's 17 too many, Detective. Executive officer. I might just have a hunch. Detective, here's my attorney's badge. Shout at me every time we meet, pal. I guess I'm just gonna have to click through everything until I find the magic thing that lets me in. It won't be this, because he just gave me that. I can't believe Officer Marshall would do something like that. You know Officer Marshall? Of course I do, he was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus. Really? He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus. I believe it's just a patrolman, man. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that? No lock can be opened without a fingerprint match. Besides, there's no reason for the murderer to touch his own locker. Wasn't your locker the one with blood on it, Detective? Ah! The handprint of the real murderer's gloved hand without any fingerprints. Sure, they'll come to arrest me if they come to arrest me, you'll defend me, won't you? If that happens, I think you'll do better pleading with Edgeworth. Oh, well, lost sight report, huh? Very impressive, Detective. You know what it was right off the bat? Well, I'm the master of misplacement, you know. Master? That's such a cool ring to it. The way I see it, if things are meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work there. Wow, a higher power? Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold any evidence. Hey, that badge is for detecting fingerprints. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth gave it to us. In what? All I have is some flour. Are you okay, Detective? Quick, run! If it's any help, one time I took a nap on a bench with wet paint. Why am I not comforted? Hey, I just bought some of that stuff. Now I can go around detecting blood traces. That's not luminol testing fluid. Is that soy sauce? Wow, is that a new toy? I've never seen that bottle before. Add 3 inches to your base. What the fuck? Base height? Let me see that. Looming tall, new and improved growth formula. You mean this can't detect any blood traces? Oh well, it's not quite the same thing as luminol. So that's why the lady in the car had that smirk on her face. That's the photo that Miss Starr took. Anything you can tell us about it? Miss Starr's quite a lady. I remember it was winter. I was 16. She was the only one who ever got me to talk about what happened. 16? That's how old I am now. I wonder what happened. One Detective Gumshoe wore a trench coat in high school too. This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on the evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say of most of our officers nowadays. Would have saved a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well. I have to admit, he's right though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15. Found Mr. Edgeworth's car, so Mr. Edgeworth's knife, huh? What drive prosecutor Sky to do such a thing? That's the King of Prosecutors Award, Mary. We know this. We've heard this. You do just about anything these days with a card and a secret number. Scary. It's only scary because you keep dropping your card. Right. I've just shown him everything in my pocket. So... what do I do now? Oh. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. He looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh?
I've had to live the past 2 years with rumours flying around. What's another allegation to me?
Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings.
So, what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do can erase that fact.
But you didn't know, did you? I mean, the evidence was falsified.
The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility is the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same, no matter what excuses I might have.
Mr. Edgeworth.
I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come down to this?
Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow?
First last year's trial and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves.
Mr. Edgeworth, you can't work out on the trial.
Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this.
What do you mean?
The list of evidence seems too short. Most lists run twice as long.
It's only half as long as most lists. That is odd.
After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing I had on my mind at the time.
Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. Something seems strange about it. Can you tell us again what happened about that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right?
I never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one.
Because you were awarded this?
Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning and then drove to the police department.
You finished up at the office?
Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is until I was asked to take something back.
Take something back?
This.
Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he?
It was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago, so I was right. That was done just to get his car there. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office.
That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to?
That's right.
This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office.
Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He'd just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy.
Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me.
Yes?
The trophy Mr. Marshall's holding. It's a little different than yours.
Yes, you're right. I remember now.
Remember what?
That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design.
A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us?
Oh, it's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. This award originates from the ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written as two characters. The first meaning halberd, the second meaning shield. Have you heard of this story?
Me? Sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it though, for Emma's sake?
Very well. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day he presented the king with two items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon.
Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other.
Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very description of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus the Chinese word contradiction was born.
Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolise...
Precisely so. They symbolise the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. But it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why are you only given a shield?
You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago he had the halberd part of the award abolished.
Chief Gant. Wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth's sitting right there. Just distract him, I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground.
Hold on, first let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet.
He didn't even look. What? That's her...
If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation.
Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean...
I'm tired, Wright. I feel as if something inside me has died.
But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it was your fault.
I know the path I've walked, you don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done, and no one else should forgive me either.
Uh-oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. That's what's going to tip Gumshoe over the edge. Thank you very much, Miles. We've got somewhere to be. Excuse me. Oh. Would you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Starr, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up the case from 2 years ago. Everyone on the trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from the case was due for transferal. This can't all be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know, that little scene I happened to witness? The instant last stabbed Detective Goodman. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savoured when eaten. Miss Starr's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Dark, that's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though. He must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her? Lana Sky. My sister? The best of the best were put on the SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. That legendary pair were the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark deserved what he got. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done? I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Sky transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Sky was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter.
She's being used?
Damon Gant and Lana Sky. Gant led the investigation with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal.
His magnetism?
By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in cases he handled.
Incredible evidence? You mean?
Oh yes, there were rumours about him even back then. No one dared confront him though.
I think she's talking about forged evidence.
Back then everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall? When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt like she'd lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from the shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why'd she have to turn so cold after all that?
Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she?
Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief? That's right. Having solved the SO9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office.
What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred?
If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change.
At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr.
You listen to me, Rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been.